All right, we'd like to welcome tournament host Tiger Woods and Charlie Sifford Memorial Exemption recipient for 2022, Aaron Beverly, to the interview room here at the Genesis Invitational. Thanks for joining us, gentlemen. Tiger, I'll start with you. We're on the eve of the first round, the opening round. How do you feel like the week is shaping up so far, from your perspective?
Well, I'm glad it's not going to hail the rest of the week, so I'm excited about that. So a couple of guys like Cooch got caught out there, which is pretty funny, of all people. The golf course is in perfect shape. Corporate superintendent has done a fantastic job in getting this thing just right. I mean, we've had unbelievable weather, as you know, some of you guys were here for Super Bowl weekend. It's been in the 80s and 90s. Perfect growing conditions. The golf course is in perfect shape. You know, the temperatures will obviously be very cold in the morning. Ball's not going to be going very far, but as it warms up a little bit, the fairways are going to be giving it up, so the guys will be getting the ball out there. If you're able to hit the ball in the fairway, you're going to have a tremendous advantage coming into the greens. So look for the guys who are driving it well. They're going to be at the top of the board. They'll have a lot shorter irons into the greens where you know they're firm right now, and you know the plan is well, I can now tell you guys the plan because I'm not playing. The plan is to get them a little bit firmer and faster, and each day progressively get a little bit harder and a little bit more difficult. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Tiger, this year marks the year that Charlie Sifford would have turned 100. The tournament's always had a long-standing history of supporting diversity in the game, and this week they're honouring Charlie with significant initiatives such as the special exemption, of course, and the 100 designation on the first hole. Why are these initiatives important to you?
Well, Charlie was a person. He was a pioneer. I mean, he was the person that he broke down the Caucasian clause that was part of the tour. I think that he should have been the first person to ever play in the Masters, but unfortunately that didn't happen after his win here in the Los Angeles area over at Rancho Park. Charlie was the grandfather I never had. You know, he to me, he was Grandpa Charlie. You know, I see him at Firestone every year, and I was telling Aaron over here that I would get these, you know, yellow teletexts, you know, in my locker every time I had a chance to win a tournament. And I'll summarize it by saying, go out and win. It wasn't. You guys know Charlie. It wasn't exactly in those words, but that was a summary of it. But you know, Grandpa Charlie was fantastic, and it was great to have President Obama award him the Medal of Freedom before he passed. And you know, I named my son after Charlie. He meant that much to me and my family. My dad would never have been able to play the game of golf. He would never have taken it up if Charlie hadn't broken down the Caucasian clause. So it's very important for us to honor what he has done, has meant to this great game of golf. To have Aaron here be a part of it. You know, he'll talk here in a little bit, and you know what he's doing, what he's going through, for him to be part here at Riviera. I remember I just asked him, what are you doing on the first hole? He's on the pipe of 2 iron right down there and on the green. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I used to think too. I remember when I hit my first tee shot there, I hit my little 3-wood out there. You know, I looked like the size of a 3-wood, but it was neat to be a part of that first tee shot. I mean, you look back at that tee shot, okay? Every great champion has basically, from the 40s on, has hit that tee shot. You know, you see photos of Hogan and Nelson and you know everyone subsequent after that, all hit that tee shot, and you can't lengthen that tee shot. It's not going anywhere. The clubhouse in the same spot, the same road, the same cart path, same everything. It's an iconic tee shot, and it's one that Aaron will always remember. And then us having the flag have 100 on it means that much more because of what Charlie has meant to this event, to me, and to the great game of golf.
And I'll just ask a couple more questions before we take some questions. Aaron, you're sitting here next to Tiger Woods today, and tomorrow you make your PGA Tour debut here at the event. What does it mean to you to receive the Charlie Sifford Memorial Exemption to this event?
Yeah, it's a real privilege and honor. Obviously, like Mr. Woods said, everything that Charlie meant to the game of golf. To me, he embodied three things: desire, perseverance, and just a passion for the game of golf. You know, he had a desire to always play on tour. He had a passion for the game of golf and persevered through a lot of, adversity. So try to embody that spirit is a real honor to me. And, to be sitting here next to Mr. Woods and to be honest with everybody is really cool. I had dreams of one day playing against him and competing against him, and hopefully, 72nd hole, I'm making the putt and I'm fist pumping. So my dreams never got so far to be sitting, doing a press conference with him, but it's definitely a moment in time I'll never forget and very special.
Let's work on that 72nd hole issue here.
Playoff, man. Playoff.
Yeah. All right, let's work on that part.
Aaron, I just want to take you back to Monday. Ethan Mangum was the inaugural pathway player into the collegiate showcase on Monday. How was your experience playing alongside Ethan, and can you see yourself continuing down that path one day?
Yeah, playing with Ethan was amazing. We started on 10. He rattled off 3 birdies in a row. I was like, oh, man, we might have a course record on our hands. He's just a great young man. He's got a great spirit about him, very confident, plays the game of golf the way it's supposed to be played. And, when you look at a guy like that, you just know that golf's in good hands moving forward. So it's awesome to have him out here, and it was, really a pleasure of mine to be playing alongside him on Monday.
Tiger, you've already kind of reminisced about hitting that opening tee shot back in 93, I think it was. 92. What do you remember from that day, and what sort of advice maybe you could give to Aaron tomorrow?
Yeah, well, first of all, don't do what I did. I had, we all have our credentials. You guys hang your lanyards around your neck, right? So I had my credential, if you look at it, in my left front pocket. And I remember on the range, and a couple putts I hit, I actually hit it. I'm like, maybe I should move this. But they won't let me in the tournament. So I didn't move it. So if you look at there in my left front pocket, I got my little credential there. And don't put it there. It's a bad spot.
Okay. Keep it in the bag. Looking back on it, it was I was trying to explain this earlier to a few people that it was I was in high school. I mean, I was a sophomore in high school. So it was like going from playing JV baseball to all of a sudden facing, okay, you're going to be in a bump against Nolan Ryan. Like that's how that's how big a jump that felt like. And I thought I played well. I shot 72, 75, and I felt like I could have improved maybe about 4 shots better. And I was still 17 back at Davis, and it was quite humbling. But I had to say, okay, this is one of the you have to understand where I grew up. I grew up playing public golf courses, so I played down there at Hartwell Junior Golf Park. Hartwell Golf Park down there in the 18-hole par 3 course, and if you guys remember the pyramid of clubs, 3 clubs on each side. So you carry that around, a 6-pack of beer, and that's how they play golf, right? Well, to play in a tour event, to not use a range token, and to have brand new Bellata balls on the range, I wanted to fill up my bag and just steal the whole thing, and but that's the difference between going from where I was playing at the time to come out here and playing on tour, and it was an enormous chasm. And I was lucky enough to have gotten an exemption to play here. Mr. Nelson gave me an exemption to play at his tournament in Dallas. So when I ended up getting a few more exemptions, I won a few events, allowed me to play in a few more tournaments. That chasm didn't seem as big and didn't seem as awe-inspiring, as an awe moment. I felt like, hey, I've been here, I've seen this, I know what these guys are capable of. Now, can I do this? No, it wasn't as big a shock factor. So having that exemption at that age was, yes, it was a big jump, eye-opening, but it allowed me to understand how far I had to go, how much I had to work. I had to go dig it out of the dirt,
Charlie and I used to talk about that all the time. You got to go earn it in the dirt. And perseverance, as Aaron was alluding to, that's what embodied Charlie, and then that's what allowed me to get here. I persevered. I worked my butt off. I went out there and earned it in the dirt, which allowed me to get on tour.
Aaron, just finally from me, you have the honor of hitting the opening tee shot tomorrow in the first round. How meaningful is that, and what do you anticipate, finally getting the tournament underway?
First of all, I'm just glad I'm used to getting up early in the morning and playing golf at 6:30. So 6:40 tee time would be, right at home for me. It's definitely special. Playing in your first PGA Tour event is a tremendous honor, and obviously being able to hit the first tee shot, I'm just going to make sure I can put fairway check in my book and give everybody else something to strive for.
Perfect. Okay, we'll take a few questions. If you have one, just raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you, and we'll start with Dan right over here.
For Tiger, what has your golf activity looked like since the PNC, and have you thought about a tournament or a date that might be fit for a return to competition?
D, I wish I could tell you when I'm playing again. I want to know, but I don't. My golf activity has been very limited. I can chip and putt really well and hit short irons very well, but I haven't done any long stuff seriously. So I'm still working, at the PNC, I'm still working on the walking part. My foot was a little messed up there about a year ago, so the walking part is something that I'm still working on strength and development in that. It takes time. What's frustrating is not at my timetable. I want to be at a certain place, but I'm not. And I just got to continue working. I'm getting better, yes, but as I said, not at the speed and rate that I would like, and yet in the age factor too, and you just don't quite heal as fast, which is frustrating.
Let's go to Jeff in the middle and then Rex.
Tiger, two questions down here in front. Have you seen progress since the PNC?
I have. Yeah, no, I have seen progress. I'm a lot stronger than I was then. I'm able to hit more shots, but I was alluding to at PNC, I was in a cart, okay? I mean, I can play weekend warrior golf. That's easy. But to be able to be out here and play, call it 6 rounds of golf, because you play practice round, pro-am, 4 competitive days, it's the cumulative effect of all that. I'm not able to do that yet, and I'm still working on getting to that point.
And then just on your comments there about Aaron and kind of how you found things. We have a lot of good players right now in Southern California. Max Homa was just here. A lot of them have come up from public golf. Mm-hmm. Do you think that that's something that hardened you, gave you a little bit of a difference from other players? And is it something you think about with your Charlie, because he's not out there at Hartwells of the world? Is that something you're aware of and kind of trying to keep him humble?
Absolutely, I'm aware of it, because growing up on where I grew up, playing either at a military golf course or a public par 3 course, the Southern California Junior Golf Association did an incredible job and still does an incredible job of hosting great events, one-day events, and sometimes 2, depends on what term it was. Sometimes the Lee Hamel at Los Coyotes was a 2-day event. Yorba Linda was a 2-day event. Things of that nature or in Griffith Park was a 2-day event, and we had a Long Beach Match Play over at El Dorado was a few-day event, but mostly it's one-day events. So yes, a lot of those one-day events typically or on public courses, but I'm telling you what, as a kid from a public course, and if you got to see the name of the golf course and you saw CC at the end of it, it was going to be a cool experience, okay? And so, I mean, not too many people can really understand that, because a lot of the players that have made it on tour didn't really understand that. They didn't come from that kind of background. That is the challenge, that me as a parent face, other parents face, that if, I belong to a country club, and so that's the challenge. And I always
trying to tell any of the kids, hey, when conditions are tough, conditions are bad, hey, they're bad for everyone. This is how it is. I mean, we used to put on fairways, all right? So make the most of it. Don't get upset about it. Fight through it, you know, and deal with it, and handle it, and keep coming back, and learn. What did you learn from it? Well, I learned that if I didn't have enough hit in the right hand, I can't get the ball to the hole. Well, that's because you're not putting on bent grass greens. There are so many things you can learn from this. Okay, so taking a negative and turning it into a positive, or for me, it was growing up and seeing the shock value of having a name with a CC at the end of it. This was out there. If I'm able to play well, if I'm able to do really well, I can play more of these type of golf courses. And so I got lucky enough when I was in high school. Big Canyon was fantastic. They gave me a junior membership there, so I was able to drive down to Newport and be able to play there at Big Canyon. And my junior and senior years, our high school golf team didn't play HG Dad Miller. We played Los Coyotes, and I think they had a LPG tournament there. So it's exciting that what you can learn, but you got to make the most of it and make the most of each and every opportunity. And that's why I try and tell, not just my son is involved in the game, but all kids are involved in the game. Make sure you take and learn from every single opportunity that's out there.
Tiger?
Yeah.
Since the PNC, have you been able to increase your golf activities, whether if that's on the range or on the golf course? And if so, is that a sense of motivation for you?
Short game wise, yes, I can. Long game wise, no. No, I have not. And because that involves more loading, more torquing of the leg. And as I said, walking is something I'm still working on. I can walk on a treadmill all day. It's easy. It's just straight, and there's no bumps in the road. But walking on a golf course with its undulations, I have a long way to go. My leg was not in a very good position there about a year ago, and I've had to work through a lot of different operations and a lot of different scenarios, and it's been tough. But I've gotten here. I've gotten this far, and I still have a long way to go. And each and every day is a fight, and I welcome that fight. I get up in the morning and, let's go a few more rounds.
Hey, Tiger, right here. Did the PNC, the way you played, I mean, obviously the actual golf was pretty good. Did that give you any sense that a comeback might be sooner than you would have thought? And have you even allowed yourself to give yourself a goal, a tournament goal?
Oh, okay. Well, first part of your question is, I knew that I could play. Okay, I can still play, but I'm in a cart. Being a weekend warrior is easy. That's not that hard. Hit your ball, hop in a cart, ride, barely step out of a cart, grab your club, hit the next one, right? And the longest walk you have is probably from the cart to the green and back. I can do that. That's not that hard. But walk on a golf course, that's a totally different deal. And then walking out here for days on end, long days, forget when my back was bad, when we had rain delays and had to reactivate everything and go back out there again. I still got that issue too. So, that's just, I got a long way to go. And so, did it give me hope? Yes, it did, because I went through a very difficult year last year, and it gave me hope to be able to play with my son again and to be able to have fun with him and have those moments we had from a year prior to that. We built on that. I wouldn't trade those experiences in for anything. We had two of the greatest days ever together, just he and I. And then we had the LaCavas in there, Little Joe and Big Joe. It was the best. And but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be back out on tour playing anytime soon. I was very limited in what I could do there. But being out here on tour, you get exposed. And that's the beauty of the sport. You get exposed. There are no carts, and you have to work your way around it. You have to be fit enough to be able to do this sport at a high level. You have to be able to practice at a high level to expect to come out here and win. And I have not done any of that.
As you talk about rehab and strengthening and all that, I'm curious, how's the structure of your leg? And how is it different from a year ago?
It's altered. It's not. My right leg does not look like my left. Put it that way. Okay.
The other thing too is without being involved in tournament golf, how do you fill your competitive void? And I got to think trying to beat Phil in the Player Impact program probably isn't it.
Well, that's not my call on that. My void is spent a lot of reading. We've done a lot of emails on expansion of the foundation, board calls, one-on-one calls. We still run Teacher Live events, and so getting all those. These are things that I wasn't allowed to spend as much time, and now I've got ample time to be more ardent about the whole process and delve deeper about what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, maybe even redefining our mission. And COVID has thrown a big monkey wrench into what we do as a foundation, being as an after-school program. It's hard to find teachers. Teachers are unwilling, especially teachers who are older, are unwilling to spend more time at school just because of a threat of getting COVID. So this is a very different world we live in, and trying to find the best way around it. So I'm doing a lot of thinking in that regard. As far as other parts of my life, I read a lot. Still play video games. That hasn't changed. But I don't. I wish I would. I wish I could spend more time on the range, digging out of the dirt, like I was saying earlier. But that's not realistic at this point. The most fun I've had?
Meeting me.
Talking about the fist pump on 72nd hole. We're going to work on that part.
All right. You still right?
Yeah, I'm going to get there. You got to get there too.
All right.
All right.
Do you think you'll be able to walk at the par 3 tournament, and is that a short-term goal that you have?
I can walk at par 3. I mean, the par
At
3
the Masters,
tournament. Well, I can walk that now.
you can?
But I'm talking about playing golf. That's a practice round. That's a pro-am day, or if it's a major, it's a practice round day. It's 4 rounds. It's the competitive nature, how much that takes out of you mentally, physically, emotionally. I haven't prepared for any of that. Going for a walk, okay, I can do that. Am I going to be sore? Hell yeah, but I can do that.
In April, is that something you're thinking of doing?
I can do that now, but whether I do that or not, I don't know.
And what are some of the duties that you'll be doing this week for the tournament as the ambassador?
What's that? So I'm sorry, the last part?
In your role as the ambassador for this tournament, what will be some of the duties that you'll be doing?
We got a lot of meetings scheduled this week. Because I'm not playing, I got ample time to do a lot of one-on-one meetings about the future of our foundation, where we're headed, future donors, trying to get an understanding from not just our board, but other people who are influential in this area. How can we have a deeper impact in the area? So I've got a lot of meetings ahead of me this week. Normally, I don't have these meetings because I'm out there playing against Aaron and the rest of the guys. But this year's different.
Tiger, outside of the golf, looking back a year ago, how fortunate do you feel just to be here fully intact, I guess?
Very lucky. They were very lucky. As a lot of you guys know, that I didn't know if I was going to have the right leg or not. And so to be able to have my right leg still here, it's huge. And I still have a lot of issues with it, but it's mine. And I'm very thankful for that. Thankful for all the surgeons and the doctors and the nurses that, for all the countless surgeries that we went through and the countless rehabs. And the PT sessions are brutal, but it's still mine. And very thankful for that.
What have you been reading?
I really like Dean Koontz books. He's based in California, so a
a lot of the places that I've been to. I've always been a big fan of his ever since high school.
And then as you talk to someone or maybe mentor someone that's going to call you Mr. Woods now instead of just Tiger, what is the advice that you give above all?
Just enjoy working, enjoy putting the time in. If you want to get better, I mean, just like what we provide with our foundation and our STEM programs. You know, school's tough, school's boring at times, but you find subjects you like, and it's amazing how much your attention span goes up, how much you're willing to put more effort into it. And it's the same for golf. Finding that passion for practice, to prepare, to get yourself ready for an event, enjoying the process of it. It makes things so much better. That would be the one thing that I would encourage Aaron and others to just enjoy that practice of going out there and finding it, as I would keep saying, dig it out of the dirt, and going out there and earning it on your own. No one's going to give it to you. You got to go earn it. And that earning it that's part of the fun. That's part of the joy of going out there and hitting 500 to 1,000 balls a day and finding it out there. Because that's when you start to understand you own it. You own your game, not anyone else's game. You know what you can and cannot do. And that's what has allowed me to win tournaments.
For Mr. Beverly, I'm going to guess you were probably still in diapers when Tiger won his first Masters. So beyond that, what would be your earliest, strongest memory of Tiger?
I wasn't quite in diapers, but I was definitely in overalls. The first memory I have is the '97 Masters when he won. We were on vacation, and I was 3. The only reason I remember this is because my dad has told me this story 100 times over. But we were on vacation in Monterey, and he had it on TV, and he watched, and that was one of the first times I ever saw my dad cry. It was because Tiger won. And then the last tournament I ever got to watch with my dad was 2019 Masters when Mr. Woods won. So it's definitely, bittersweet that I can't share that memory with my dad, like me being here right now. And, he understands that probably better than almost anybody in the world. So, yeah, so I wasn't in diapers, but definitely young. So, and a lot of, countless memories.
And then Tiger had one more for you, just out of curiosity. Phil made some comments a couple weeks ago about media rights and players not having access to it. You had one like 20 years ago. It was more marketing, I think, than media rights. But what were your thoughts on those comments and the concept of players having more access to media rights?
Yeah, that's something that we've had struggles with that for decades, really. I mean, remember Larry wanted to unionize our tour, and we went through that whole process. What we didn't understand at the time, even when I first came out here over 25 years ago, is that where our tour would go, where our media would go. We barely had cell phones, and so barely had the internet. So media rights is a big thing. A lot of us are concerned about what is the direction where we're going, and how can we have more control over that. And there's been a lot of talk from whether it's the PAC or the board or from players internally. Everyone has their opinion about it, but we need to come to a collective decision. Jay has taken it all in to try and figure out what's best for each and every individual player, because we're all independent contractors, but also then again, what is best for the tour as a brand as well. And so trying to put all that together, meanwhile still grow the tour at the same time, and all the different media rights that have come about over the last 10 years, whether it's streaming, which is didn't exist. Where do you go on that? Where does the tour go? Who owns those rights? How much do you share of that? Where does it go? But I have to say that one of the things that allows our sport, what separates our sport so much, is one, the fact that we are able to have the best retirement plan there is in all of sports, and we have an opportunity to play well past our playing days and still earn well over $1 million, well into our 50s, where football players have done it 9 years. So
Yes, there's a give and take, okay? And we just need to find where there's a balance of what's best for the players and what's best for the brand. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Just first of all, who's Larry?
Larry Rinker.
Oh, Larry Rinker. Okay, all right. I was going to ask you, most people asking the question about your health, and they all assume, I think, that at some point you're going to come back. A, is that a fair assessment? And B, if you did come back, do you think you could come back and be competitive?
Will I come back? Yes. Will I come back and play a full schedule? No. I said that at Albany. That'll never happen again. I can play certain events here and there, but on a full-time level, no, that will never happen again. Pick and choose my events, whether they're majors or other events. I can do something like that. But come back and playing the tour, yes, but not on a full-time basis.
And one other thing, because Doug mentioned it, do you distrust the tour? Because it's clear that some of the comments by other people are suggesting that the tour is doing something untoward and somehow are hoarding the money that they're not giving to you guys.
Do I distrust the tour? And that is no. I have had a great relationship with Tim over the years, and I've had a great relationship with Jay over the years. Jay and I started back in '03 in Boston, and so we've built our relationship since then. So we've had a great relationship, and yes, are there disagreements? Of course, there's supposed to be, and we as players want what's best for us, and he wants what's best for the players and the brand as well. And so, are there going to be disagreements? Yes. Are there going to be concessions? Yes. But I think that constructive disagreements are good. It adds to both sides. We want to see the game of golf grow. Okay, there's opinions on how the game of golf is going to grow, and therein lies the difference. And so collectively there are a lot of guys who believe a certain way, and then some guys believe differently. But I just think that in the grand scheme of things, we want to see the game of golf grow. For me personally, I've had a great relationship with the tour. I've been a part of it for 26 years, and as I said, we've had our own disagreements over the years, but also it's great constructive criticism as well.
Tiger, thank you for your time today, Tiger,
Yeah, Mark,
and thank you for being a tournament host. Aaron, thank you for your time, and good luck with the tournament this week as
Thank you,
the
sir.
Charlie Sifford exemption. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.